Hello everybody, this is Juntas. Today I will go over mounts, toys and similar items that I've been using for all of Legion. Maybe it's a bit of a weird time to round it up now at the end of an expansion, but I feel like doing it. A lot of the items will be, stuff that you can easily get. It shouldn't be that hard and they will enhance your gameplay in many ways. Now I have always been about min-maxing, I find that fun. So for me this is just another way to kinda get that experience going in World of Warcraft. And bonus, a lot of the items that I will show can also carry over to the next expansion coming up in like a month or whatever. So that's about it. So then, first a quick tip. In order to be able to access the items easily while playing the game, in a heated combat situation or similar, I always suggest having, well, first of all, you should use an add-on for bars in general. That's a good idea. But if you are using an add-on for that, you can easily make an add-on that is hidden for most of the time, except when you hover over with stuff like bartender or whatever you prefer using. So in my case, this is bar number 6. I have it visibility at fade out at 0%, fade out delay 0.4 seconds, so it kind of stays a little up and I move the mouse cursor. That's always nice. And that's about it. It's very simple, but it doesn't clutter the UI when you have hidden bars like this in your UI, so you can easily access toy items. This is just how I prefer to do it. I've done this for many other builds as well, because it's always a good idea to have ability bars hidden in your UI or however you like it. But let's move on. Right then, let's first take a look at toy items. I will start down here with Rockfeather Skyhorn Kite. Now I'm not gonna go over locations etc where to get them. Rest assured, all of them are very easy to get. If you have even played Legion for like a month or two, you probably stumbled over most of the locations. Some of them are from other expansions as well. Anywho, the Skyhorn Kite, yeah, it's not gonna be usable outside of Broken Isles, but it's still very good. It saves like 25 gold because a Goblin Glider does cost some gold if you don't make it yourself on the auction house. So it's a nice little thing to have. The Whisper Ross, it's still very great. You can get it easily within like 5 minutes from the Alliance garrison. Horde maybe have to fly out a little longer to the zone, but it's still very good. The Broad Fist is another item. While yes, it does say it can be used in other zones than Broken Isle, yeah, you can maybe get lucky, but I don't think it's going to be usable in the next expansion. But it's still a great way to kind of save yourself from fall death, or even just getting up in the air slightly to get some momentum. The Emerald Whisper wins. Yeah, we are just gonna have to bank this one as well in a BFA, but it's still a very good item for Broken Isle. Then the X52 Rocket Helm, I can only be 100% sure that this one is going to find some use. This plus some sort of momentum push and a glider, that is just going to be a great thing. Yes, it's a 5-hour cooldown, but it can still save a lot of time if you're like trying to get over a mountain or whatever in a play session, and you know that you're going to save like 5-10 minutes just from using this one item. It's very useful. It's also a bit, yeah, it's a bit, what can you say, a bit generic there. It's only one use, 5 hours, but still, if you can find the place for it, it's good. Then Katie Stamp Whistle, this one's a new one, and it's definitely going to be used on, every single character that I can think of. Having a portable mailbox, and this one was actually easy to get as well. It's super handy. Definitely get it just for that access only. If you're really good at it, you can also get like a title and another thing from the achievements, but I haven't gotten those just yet. It's just the mailbox that I mainly wanted out of that fun little side quest that we recently got in Legion. Then the Angler's Bismuth, it's such an old one, everyone probably knows about it, but if you don't, you should really just have it. It's very good, especially before flying is in label, like in an expansion, etc. Highly recommended it, and it's easy enough to get if you're still doing like fish content for whatever reason in older expansions. Then the Argent Squire, you access, I think it was both a vendor, your bank, or even a repair vendor or something like that. Basically, it does a lot of things. It does, however, require you to do the reputation grind in Icecrown Citadel, all that shit. It's a bit of a long grind to get it, but it's definitely worth it on like your main character or the character that you at least care about a lot. And then the Guild Herald here. This is a way to get a vendor inside any zone where you can't mount up on your mounts for vending, whatever. It's a very nice thing to kind of do if you're soloing raid. Say you're inside a raid, you can't mount up, you still need to vendor items. The guild herald is there for that specific thing. It's a bit, yeah, situational, but it's still kind of cool to have. And for the end of the toy items, I also wanted to mention the Underlight Angler. It's a very nice pole to just get for fishing in general, but the amazing thing is that it's gonna carry over to BFA. At least that's the what I could at least saw on the internet. And obviously, when you have it equipped, it's just gonna make yeah. This is even faster than the Druid's swim form, travel form, whatever you want to call it, the seal. So even for Druids, this is very nice to have, and honestly, everyone should just get it. It's not a long grind to get the fishing pole. It's at worst, it's like 5 to 10 hours. If you can't evolve over that, whatever, okay, that's fine, but it's just really, really great, especially if you can't, access flying for like a year in the next expansion or whatever Blizzard plans to do. Stupid Blizzard with flying restrictions, but yeah, that's the design of the expansions that we had for the last 2 or so years. But that was it for the toy items. So of course, with a guide like this, I just have to mention the Grand Expedition Yak. You can access a vendor and a transmogrifier. It's pretty decent to have, and honestly, 120k gold or whatever the price was, that's not a lot in Legion. Everyone is walking around with so much gold now compared to even just Warlords and Draenor. So if you haven't picked it up yet, maybe it's the time to do it now, because inflation is just gonna keep continuing. Your gold is not gonna be, more worth in BFA. I can't imagine that. But let's move on with some useful items that I always try to carry around. Goblin Glider. It's cheap to get on the auction house, same as potions and drums. Why not just have them? Even on like old characters, the drums are always nice to kind of burst down a potential PvP target or a longer quest or something like that. And then I would also like to just quickly mention the buff items that we used in Legion. If you still haven't picked these two up, just WoW have them. They're pretty easy to get if you're just grinding out the rep. Let's also just quickly mention the Braces of Awakening. I haven't really used it much in Legion, if ever, but I can still mention a situation where it could be useful, and that would be, everyone is dying in a 5-man and you are the only one alive and you're also going to die, and you can just pop it on the ground or something like that. There's a few situations where this still comes handy, and if you haven't looted it, it's very fast to do in Warlords of Draenor, in Tanaan Jungle. I could also just mention something like carrying, flasks, etc., Tomes of Tranquil Mind. It's not really that important. But I will, however, mention Auto Hammer. Everyone always complains about, I need to repair my gift to run outside, etc., etc. If you just have this in your bags, you can always help out a mate who ran out of inventory or durability even. And it's just kind of nice to always, be that guy, be a little bit useful. And then because of, if you ever want to get like Hunter level 500 or whatever, I still can only recommend getting the standards for extra honor gain. This is also useful in Legion when you're doing the World PvP quiz, because you will get like 30, 50 honor more or something like that by popping these. It's a little bit now and there. It's not a big boost, but it's still nice to have. So just pick these two up and have them on your characters that you're going to, grinding honor on. Why not? It helps. Lastly, I would also like to mention just a few items. The Ultimate Gnomies Army Knife. Maybe you're not really gonna use it that much, but I think it's still useful to just have on every old character. Also just because it's very cheap to have, especially for the main character. It's a fun little tool. It's not that useful, but it's still cool. And then I would like to mention the summon items, how to actually get around the world quicker. For Alliance, I can only recommend getting this one. It saves so much time being able to teleport to the Baradin base camp in Tol Barad. Because right behind, when you're teleported out of the lock screen, etc., you can just access a portal to Stormwind, which is faster than using the Stormwind traditional cloak, where you spawn up at the Mage Tower portal area. It saves a minute, saves a half a minute or whatever, and it's an extra way to get to Stormwind, also being closer to like the Oldham portal or whatever. So it's very nice to have. I could also mention a fun little thing that I recently actually noticed. You can delete or just keep the Hearthstone, whatever, in your bank, and then use the Innkeeper's Daughter's toy. as your main hearthstone. That's a fun little thing. You save a back slot. It's cool. It's cool. I like that. And then I still keep the garrison and the Laren hearthstone. Yeah, and that's really about it. The bandit current Tor, it's an old one as well, but it's a nice way to kind of get to Ice Crown Citadel or a similar zone in Northrend faster. And then because I tend to always kind of just do some random content in Timeless Idol, I still keep my Time Lost artifact. It's not that useful, but if you're still going to that zone, sometimes it might be good to pick up. But I think that about just covers it. There's not really more items I would recommend. If you're on engineering, you can also get teleport wormhole items, but if you're not, it doesn't really matter, you know? And yeah, let me know if there's any items I missed out. You know, I always like to discover these items just for the min-maxing sake. A lot of people will not care at all about the things that I talked about in this video, but for me, this is also a fun part of WoW. There's not a lot to like, improve. How can you be a better player than the guy next to you? Obviously skill, sure, but there's also like these small little things that I just like caring about, and that's the fun of WoW. You make the game however you like it to be, and we all have to spend our time on this world on something. And if you like grinding for fishing pole now, for just being able to swim faster and BFA, go for it. Why not? But that's about it. I don't want to make the video that much longer, so thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.